I was setting up for morning practice when the athletic director walked onto the field and said, "We need to talk about Corey. Now." I laughed. What did he do this time? Skip drills again? Because I already benched him for Friday. The athletic director didn't laugh. He didn't even blink. He just said, "Come inside." I figured Corey's mom had called to complain again. She did that every time I disciplined him. Corey Reeves was my starting midfielder. Junior year. Talented kid. But lately he'd been a nightmare. Showing up late, half asleep, not running plays. Last week he missed practice entirely, and when I asked where he'd been, he just shrugged and said, "I didn't see the point." I told him if he didn't see the point, he could sit on the bench until he found it. The guys on the team laughed. Corey didn't. He just walked to the locker room and sat there until everyone left. I figured he was sulking. That's what I wrote in my head, sulking. When I got to the athletic director's office, the door was already open. The school counselor was sitting inside. Her eyes were swollen. She'd clearly been crying for a while. I looked at the athletic director. "Okay, what's going on? Is this about the benching? Because I'm not backing down. He needs to learn." The counselor cut me off. "Coach, please sit down." Her voice cracked on the word please. I sat, but nobody said anything. They just looked at each other like they were deciding who had to say it. "Can someone tell me what's happening?" The counselor pressed her hands together. "When was the last time you spoke with Corey one-on-one?" I thought about it. Maybe 3 weeks ago. He came in after practice and I was packing up the cones. He said something like, "Coach, do you think anyone would notice if I just stopped showing up?" I told him, "To practice? Yeah, I'd notice because I'd have to redo the lineup." He kind of half smiled and walked out. That was it. The counselor closed her eyes when I told her this, like the words physically hurt her. "He wasn't talking about practice," she whispered. "I didn't understand." She pulled out a folder and slid it across the desk. "Corey's teachers flagged multiple warning signs over the past 2 months. Falling grades, withdrawal. He wrote an essay in English class 3 weeks ago about what the world would look like without him in it. His teacher reported it. I called him in. We talked. I contacted his mother." She paused. "You weren't informed?" I shook my head. "Nobody told me anything." The athletic director spoke for the first time. "That's on us. Communication broke down. But coach, there's more." I looked at the counselor. She was crying again. "Last night, Corey's mother found him in the garage." The room tilted. "Found him doing what?" "He'd written letters. One to his mom, one to his teammates." She paused. "One to you." My chest collapsed. "Is he?" "He's at St. Vincent's. He's alive. His mother got there in time." I couldn't breathe. "The letter to you." She slid an envelope across the desk. I opened it with shaking hands. "Coach, I know you think I'm lazy. I know you think I don't care about the team. I stopped caring about everything a long time ago, but you were the last person I was still trying for. When you benched me in front of everyone, I know I deserved it, but something broke. When I asked if anyone would notice if I stopped showing up, I wasn't talking about practice. You said you'd notice because of the lineup. I guess I was hoping you'd say something different. That's not your fault. But I wanted you to know that I wasn't sulking in that locker room. I was saying goodbye to the only place that still felt like mine." I put the letter down. I couldn't see the words anymore. The counselor said, "He's stable. His mother is with him. He's going to get help." I stood up. My legs felt like they weren't mine. "Can I see him?" "Not yet, but soon." I walked out of that office and past the practice field. The cones were still set up from yesterday. His jersey was still hanging in the locker room. His cleats were still under the bench where he always left them. I sat in the empty bleachers for an hour. When he asked if anyone would notice if he stopped showing up, I made it about the lineup. He was asking if he mattered, and I told him he was a roster spot.